Sure. My name is Shani Silver. Um, the second half of your question got cut off, but I will just introduce myself as a writer and podcaster. And the work that I do specializes in helping single women live their lives fully with permission to enjoy them, free of shame, free of failure narratives, free of any of the nonsense that doesn't really take into account what the life of a single woman is actually like and can sort of compound the negative aspects of it. So I hope what I do for a living is help single women feel better in a nutshell.
Well, really quick sidebar. If we start to cut out, let us know again and we can readjust something. But yes, so I found your
Sure.
TikTok, um, and that is the video that like sparked my like, oh, I love this person. Oh my gosh, they're speaking to my heart as a single woman. And you also wrote a book, right? The Single Revolution. I love your title. Don't look for a match, light one. So can you explain a little bit about that book as well?
Of course, yeah. A Single Revolution is essentially all of my work in one volume. It is designed to be the foundation for feeling better about your single life. It's everything. I held nothing back. This is the entire farm in one book. If you are single and dating and miserable about one or both of those things, this is the book you need to read. It's not going to tell you that you have to give up on love or choose singlehood or marry yourself, whatever the fuck that. I'm sorry. Can I swear? Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Yes,
yes.
please.
Okay. Whatever marrying yourself means, which I still don't understand, and it just gives me such ick. But you get to live happily single and remain open and look forward to your future relationships at the same time. And I don't think that's been something that we've had permission to do or have ever been encouraged to do. You do not have to feel like shit about your singlehood until it's over. And I want to make sure that single women know that. So I wrote a book giving us that permission and showing us how. So that's why a single revolution exists. And I hope it's just a helpful tool. I wanted to be sitting on the couch with every single woman who was upset and miserable and frustrated and angry, and I couldn't be. So I sent the book there.
So I think it's really important to name things, and you started to go into that a little bit because when we don't name them, we don't always necessarily have the words for them. But what are some of the things that society tells single women or like says about single women?
Oh, what's wrong with you? Society asks single women, what's wrong with you? If you don't have a partner by the time we say you should have a partner, but not too soon because that's too soon, and not too late because then you're a spinster and an old maid. But if you don't have a partner when we think you should have a partner, what's wrong with you? Why are you causing your singlehood? What is wrong with you? How are you someone who is undesirable? How are you repelling men or women? How are you repelling what you want? You're repelling what you want because if you want it, you should have it, and if you don't, it's your fault. How are you repelling the thing that you want? That's what's told to single women. And it ignores what dating is actually like. It ignores what dating has actually become. It ignores that dating is two halves of something coming together as opposed to one going into the world as fucking bait. Like it's a cruelty. In my mind, it's a cruelty because dating has not turned out to be what was sold to us when we were young. And that hasn't been taken into account in the ways that we talk about, think about, and treat single women. So I would like us to demand more of the world. And until we get it, we're going to have to give more to ourselves and we're going to have to reflect back a much more positive view of singlehood than we've ever seen.
It is so aggressive when like you're out in the world as a single human being, and I feel like everything that gets thrown at you is negative, and if you find the positive, you've like found this empowerment in this like small little niche of like the internet or blogs or something. It's like, oh, how to claim your singlehood, but it's not necessarily just given to you. There's always like this narrative of what you're saying something wrong. Or also on your website, you were talking about how like single women are unfinished in society. Like they're not a whole person until they're attached to another person, and you're constantly trying to like finish and fill in the gaps until you're someone with
Find your
someone.
other half.
Yeah.
Yeah, as if you're missing like a chunk of you,
Hmm.
but it's not you, it's someone else. It never made much sense to me. And it's all, I mean, go back as far as you want. It's incredibly patriarchal in nature. Everyone feels much better about a woman who's tethered and nicely tucked into a neat little box that we built for her. And even when I'm in relationship, I don't want to feel like I'm neatly tucked into a little box. I never want to feel settled down or anything. I never want to feel quieted or tamed the way the world has seen coupling and marriage as it pertains to women. And the opposite of that is like someone who isn't married or tethered is this like wild, unpredictable, very dangerous witch, which I'm not saying I'm not, but like I don't want to ever feel like my life has been limited by couplehood. I would like to think that my life has only been expanded by couplehood. And until I find a couplehood that gives that to me, I just won't have one because my singlehood doesn't suck. So I don't have to.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Another like narrative I feel like I hear is that like the worst thing that can happen is that you're going to die alone. Like you have to find somebody so that you don't die alone. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. All day if you like. So listen, the only way to not die alone is to die first. And so I find the narratives of you don't want to die alone incredibly degrading, insulting, and mostly it's insulting to the elderly. Because anyone who's saying, oh, you don't want to die alone, I guarantee you has never spent a day inside a nursing home. Not one day. And we should all spend many, many more days than we're spending. Because no one's spending time there. They're empty, except for the elderly that are there. And they're not there in pairs. They're not there in couples. They are there in communities of fellow elderly. So who we're with when we die, and think that this won't be you all you want, but whatever. It's going to be a community of people who are like us. And it's not going to be this notebook fantasy of dying on the exact same day as your lifelong partner. That's fantasy. If it happens to you, mazel, but like it's fantasy. Everybody dies in either a community with their family or a community with, and this is more likely, I think, a community of fellow elderly. And I see it very disrespectful of the elder community when words like, you don't want to die alone are thrown out as some kind of a threat. Like, how dare you? Like a life, if I die alone, sorry, when I die alone, it's going to be after a life of hard work and contributing to society and creativity and community and love and respect. It's going to be at the end of a lot of amazing things. And to somehow insinuate that it will be lesser or that it will suck because I won't have a ring on my finger and a husband by my side holding my hand, get fucked. Die alone is so limiting and so insulting, and using that to put fear into single women's hearts is so disgusting and limiting and misleading and cruel and degrading and demeaning. I mean, how many other unsavory words need to fly out of my mouth? But don't threaten a woman with, you don't want to die alone, because all that's doing is putting more and more fear and panic and urgency into her heart so that she can crawl back inside the lion's mouth on a dating app. That's what that's doing. It's a threat, and I don't take lightly to threats.
Yeah. No, you do not.
That
And
was
I love
fucking
that.
powerful.
That was powerful. And what you were saying made me think, because like you are coming and you sound so powerful, and like you are talking about your life exactly how I want to talk about my life, which is like I have all these accomplishments, I am successful, all this stuff. And I still feel like when you talk about your life that way as a single woman in society, that's like, oh, you're just jaded. You're still just trying to find things like to make you happy until you like have a partner. You know, it's like, no, I'm happy and successful. It's like, okay. And it's like, I don't know why that response of being proud of the life that you made by yourself and like the success that you have still gets the response of like, okay, yeah, that's what you're telling yourself, you know, like you just sound bitter because you don't have someone yet. And I don't really get that.
I don't get it either, but I don't give a shit. What other people think the life that I am living does not have any impact on me. They're not living my life, and I'm not living my life for them. I'm not existing to make other people happy. I'm not existing for other people's approval. They aren't at home with me right now. I am. This is my life, and I don't have to live it in service of convincing other people of its validity or convincing other people of its happiness. And a couple things are happening there. One, obviously, someone else has a very, you can go ahead and use the word jaded there. Somebody else has a very jaded view of singlehood. Maybe they're afraid of singlehood themselves, or maybe they just haven't asked themselves the question, what is really so bad about singlehood anyway? I guarantee you they haven't done any work in the singlehood space at all for whatever reason. So that's their limitation, not yours. And I think when we internalize those messages and have them shrink us down and make us feel terrible and take away our self-worth, that's work that we have to do, because that's a choice. To let somebody else dictate how you're going to feel, that's your choice. And it's something that you also have the choice to work on. And I'm not saying that you can just like snap your fingers and stop caring about what other people think. We're human beings, and I grew up in the 90s. Obviously, I care about what other people think. But like, you can practice giving less of a shit. That's for sure. Remember that they're not living your life. They have their opinions have nothing to do with your life. Those opinions that they have aren't solving any problems for you. They're not paying any bills for you. They're not introducing you to any potential partners. That's for goddamn sure. They don't have to matter. They don't have to matter.
Ugh, it's such like an empty comment, exactly what you're saying. It's like you providing judgment doesn't also provide me with anything, you know, like you're not giving a solution of sorts. So it doesn't make any.
Something I'm wondering, and something that we actually had listeners ask about, is how you can be sexually empowered while single, whether you're like sleeping with somebody or not, whether you're, you know, hooking up with other people or not, and regardless of experience level, because the questions that we're getting are like, I don't have a lot of dating or sexual experience. Like, how can I still be sexually empowered or empowered in my singleness?
I mean, that's one of the hardest questions anyone's ever asked me. And I've been on a lot of podcasts because intimacy and sex are so individual and so unique to you. And kind of nobody wants to hear the answer that I have to give you, because when I tell you to have less sex, that sounds terrible, right? Like, we don't want to have less sex. We don't have all the sex in the world. We're single. We're free. We can have all the sex in the world. Can you? Is it making you feel good? Is it making you feel in your worth? If it's not, if the sex you're having is not making you feel empowered, my suggestion is to have less of it. And no one likes that answer, but it's the one I'm going to give you, maybe if nothing else for the sake of variety. You don't have to have sex if when you do, it takes something away from you. Because I don't think that's what sex is for. I think sex is there to give us so much. And the physical part of it is only one aspect, especially for women. There are so many wonderful emotional possibilities that are involved in sex of all kinds. And there's just so much good that can come from sex. And it hurts my heart when we have sex that gives us nothing, that only takes. So my solution is, if I am not getting everything that I need from my sexual life, I simply have less sex. And that's where I take my empowerment back. But I know that that doesn't work for everybody, because there are varieties in sexual needs that people have. And I also think that those things can change over time. I wouldn't have considered myself demisexual in the past, even though I probably was. I just didn't know the term. I didn't know my own sexual needs. And as I've matured through my singlehood, I've understood sex without some sort of emotional connection to the human being is going to feel really not good for me.